What's going on YouTube? Mark here from TST Industries, back in the garage, and in today's video I will be guiding you through the installation process of our TST LED front pod turn signal bundle for the Yamaha Tenere 700. Now the year ranges this video will cover do get a little messy because technically the bike was released in 2019 in other world markets outside of North America. And then in 2020, Yamaha announced that the bike would be coming to North America, but the US technically didn't get them until 2021 models. So please keep that in mind if you are following this and watching this video. If you have a Tenere 700, this installation process should suit you. But if you are an international customer, please make note that your electrical connectors may be different from what we receive here in North America. So please keep that in mind when you are following this video, and even before when you are purchasing and looking for products out on the internet. Now real quick, we're going to go over the components of this kit. Please note, this video does cover the entire TST LED front pod turn signal bundle, but these components are available a la carte individually. So we have our pod signal mounting kit, your choice of signals such as our echoes or our BL6 signals, and then the plug and play harness converters. You can also add in, if you'd like, our TST running mate to retain that OEM running light function if you are in North America. If you're outside of North America, you may not have that running light function, so please keep that in mind again as you are shopping. But if you purchase this bundle, you will receive the three main components: the signals, the mounting kit, and the converters. If you are purchasing them separately, the price will reflect that, so please make sure you read over the product pages. This installation process is pretty straightforward, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. To begin this installation process, we are going to remove the 3 bolts located on this front and upper turn signal fairing. Please note that you can either use a T27 Torx bit or a standard 6.8mm socket, whichever tool you have handy in your garage. It's also important to note that these bolts do have plastic washers on them. They should be removed with the bolts, but in case they are not, please make sure you remove them and reuse them during the reinstallation process. Now we're going to focus on removing the 3 plastic quarter turn fasteners located on this inner fairing. For this step, I do prefer to use a Torx bit, as they are just quarter turn fasteners. If you have a socket, you may want to just completely pull it out, but they're very easy to remove. I actually really love these fasteners that Yamaha used on the inner fairing here. You're just going to turn them a quarter of the way. They pop out, and then you can just remove them. Now with the hardware removed, we can actually remove the entire signal shroud. To do so, we're going to slide back gently and then pull up, releasing it from the locking tabs. As you remove it, you will gain access to the turn signal connector, which is held in a little retaining clip. To disconnect it, you're going to pry up on the locking tab and then pull out. You can then slide the OEM connector back into that connector well and leave it in place. With the fairing removed, we can come on over to our workbench or our table and get ready to remove the OEM turn signal. Now to do so, you should have a small flathead screwdriver handy. It will always make things a lot easier. We'll begin by releasing this locking clip for the wire routing. It's pretty easy. Just pry up on the locking tab and it releases the wire. Next, we need to actually remove the turn signal from the housing. Now, if you've worked on Yamaha bikes in the past, you know that some of their new signals have some of the easiest removal methods and installation methods. Taking your small flathead screwdriver, you're going to wedge it in between the rubber grommet on the outside and the hard plastic inner washer. You're going to do so in a way and then pry up on the plastic washer, releasing one tab from the grommet. Repeat that step on the opposite side, being careful that you do not scratch your fairings. And just like that, you can see the plastic washer comes undone. You can now snake the wire through that, remove it, toss it to the side, and very gently but purposefully pull outward on the signal, releasing it from the fairing. And this is just a rubber signal housing. Now, in case you wanted to get a clearer image of how that unlocked from its captive geometry, I'm going to simply show it off of the fairing. I know it kind of gets washed away on an all black fairing. But what we did was took our small flathead screwdriver and pried it in between the rubber grommet and the hard inner plastic washer. We did it on both sides. It releases the tabs from the locking ears, and then you can remove the inner plastic washer and the signal from the fairing. Now we can toss that to the side and focus on our signal kit. Now in this video I will be installing our BL6 signals, but this installation process can be used for our Echo signals or any other pod signal we release in the future. I will also be installing our TST Industries running mate, but if you do not have that, do not want that, you can bypass that process. I will show you how to connect it without the running mate. And lastly, we have our pod signal mounting kit here. Right now I only have half of the kit displayed, and I will highlight the components and what we are going to use. Now, as you can see here, we have 3 unique pieces. They are doubled, so you have 6 pieces total in the pod signal mounting kit. We have a small circular washer, a smaller convex washer or concave, depending on which angle you're looking at, and then a larger one. We're going to toss the circular one to the side and only focus on the smaller and larger faced washers. Now in this installation process, we're going to take the smaller of the 2 and simply place it in the signal well on the inner side of the fairing. So the convex side of the washer, the portion that is bubbled out, will sit in the signal well of the fairing. Now we can go ahead and grab our TST Industries LED pod turn signal. We're going to remove the locking nut and the washer. And we're going to feed the wires through the convex side of the larger plastic washer. It should sit like so. And these are side specific for our BL6 turn signals. You can see, I'm not sure how well you can see that, we do have TST Industries embossed on the back side of the signal. That should face, so you can read it. On this particular side of the fairing, it is correct. Now that we have that set up, we can actually take the turn signal with the plastic washer, and while holding the smaller one that's in the fairing, we're going to feed the wires through, creating a sandwich of the components. And then we can go ahead and grab our washer and the locking nut and feed the wires through completely until they bottom out. Now, as you begin to tighten this and get the plates sitting correctly, you should note on these fairings there is a small lip. The outer washer will sit on top of that lip. The inner washer, again, will sit inside the well where the signal was. We're going to tug on the wires gently of our BL6 signals, ensuring that they are fed through completely. And we're going to, by hand, begin to tighten the locking nut. You need to catch a few threads. Once you have a few threads on it, you can flip it over and begin to situate not only the signal, but the mounting kit as well, to ensure that everything is sitting as it needs to. I will hold it like this so you can see exactly what I'm doing on the outside. Just positioning everything. And we're gonna hand tighten it as much as we can. And before we make that final adjustment, we're just going to make sure that, again, it is legible, TST Industries on the back side. And the direction is pretty much the way we want it. We can make some final adjustments once it is on the bike, but you want to get it 99% of the way bottomed out and nice and snug. I'm pretty happy with that angle. So I'm going to take a 13mm open-ended wrench and just give it a nice 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 of a turn, ensuring that it is locked in place. Now with that complete, we can focus on the connection. If you are bypassing the TST running mate, what you will do with our provided harness converters, if you purchase the full bundle, is connect red to black and yellow to brown. That will give you a connection that provides you with a signal that only turns on when you activate your signal, and you will not have a running light function. To test this, before we finalize everything, you want to slide the rubber sleeves over the bullet connectors, pull back on the blue wire, we will isolate that and tape it off, and then we'll bring the fairing over to the bike. We will quickly connect this, and we can see that the signal is functional. It is flashing quickly, but it is functional. We do not have a running light feature, and that is perfectly okay. Now, if you are using the TST running mate, at this point, we can go ahead and connect that in between the provided harness converter and our turn signal. So it's pretty easy. Yellow to yellow, black to black on the one end. Slide the rubber sleeves over the bullet connectors yet again. And then on the opposite end, we're just going to mimic exactly the same connection. So red to red, blue to blue, and brown to brown. We're going to slide the rubber sleeves over all the connectors, ensuring that they do not come in contact with one another, potentially causing you to blow a fuse. Now that I know all of the rubber sleeves are seated properly, we can test this connection. And you can see the signal now turns on when the bike is on, and when activated, the turn signal will switch to 100% brightness and act as a turn signal. When you turn off your turn signal, the running light comes back at an 80% brightness effect. Now I'm pretty happy with all of this. Now we need to button up this installation and make it a little cleaner. So what we're going to do is, while ensuring the rubber sleeves are over the bullet connectors and isolating them, we're going to take some electrical tape and simply provide some added security. These bikes in particular are meant to be ridden in an adventure setting that can cause some vibrations that can potentially cause those rubber sleeves to slide back, and that will result and can result in some shorted fuses. So we're going to try and avoid that. We're simply going to isolate one connector and then tape the other one to it. Repeat that step. And if you are bypassing the running mate, at this point you can go ahead and actually tape off that blue connector, the blue wire, on our harness converter and isolate it to itself, ensuring it doesn't come in contact with anything else. I'm very happy with this. We can use another piece of tape if we'd like, just to make it even cleaner. Our connections are isolated and secured. We know that it functions properly as we'd like, so let's go ahead and route these wires and get the fairing back on the bike and complete this installation. So what we're going to do is just double over on these wires, creating a nice bundle. If you have a zip tie or some extra electrical tape, at this point you can zip tie this bundle together. And if not, no worries. You can isolate them within the wire routing clip that is on the fairing. To re-engage that locking clip, once you have the wires in, you're simply going to press down until you hear a small click. That is ensuring that it locked and it is engaged. Now we have a smaller wire loom that we can connect to the bike and begin the reinstallation process of this fairing. Now to begin this reinstallation process, we're going to start by connecting our signal. You would hate to have the fairing reassembled on the bike and then your signal is not functioning. Now we do have some sliding locks on this fairing. We have one located here, which engages at the top portion of the gas tank cover. And then we have a lower one down here that slides into this locking tab. To engage this entire fairing exactly the way it should be installed, you want to repeat the steps we took to remove the fairing in the opposite direction. So we're going to start on the top and slide forward, locking that in place. And then we're going to come to the back and push forward on the bottom half of the fairing, ensuring that the slide lock down here slid into place. There's also a smaller slide lock located near the turn signal that sits in a larger cutout, so you don't really have to worry about that one. It kind of self-locates, but you do need to ensure that the two located at the rear of the signal fairing do slide into place. Now we can go ahead and grab the silver bolts we removed, and either by hand, you can begin hand threading them, ensuring you're not cross-threading, or if you have your tool still handy, by hand again, use the tool to ensure that you are not cross-threading these bolts. Once you have them all secured, you can actually go ahead and use your tool at this point, bottom them out, and once they're bottomed out, go another quarter of a turn, ensuring that they're locking. Now, as you removed the inner quarter turn plastic fasteners, what happened was you loosened them, and as it loosened, it released from its locking engagement tab. You want to make sure that they are positioned in a way that they are still unlocked, and you can see here all three of them are still unlocked, and you're going to simply insert them into the locking holes, and then you will use your tool by hand, press down and turn a quarter of the way, and just like that, they are now secured and your fairing is locked in place. Now with this side complete, you do want to go ahead and just check your connection. As you can see, the turn signal does turn on with our running light, and it is flashing when the signal is activated. You can now move to the opposite side of the bike and repeat these steps exactly to get the other turn signal installed, and this installation will be fully complete. Now it is important to note, as you can see, when I turn on the signal, it is flashing quickly. That is because we are switching to an LED turn signal from the stock incandescent light, and the OEM relay cannot handle the logic, and it is warning the rider that a turn signal may be out. In order to fix that, we will have a separate video showcasing the installation of our plug-and-play LED flasher relay. This is a completely plug-and-play and fully adjustable product, so if you like the fast flash rate, but you want to ensure your signals are flashing correctly, you can actually install our relay. You can adjust it slower or faster to your liking, and it is fully plug and play with no modifications needed. We will have a separate video for that, so be sure to check it out. But other than that, this installation is complete and you are now ready to ride. So if you want to check out this products or any other product we have for the Tenere 700, be sure to check out our website, TST Industries. The link to this exact kit is in the description below. As you can see, we really cleaned up the bike quite a bit. If you are taking this bike on roads that are less unforgiving, you may want to switch to something a little bit slimmer. I like our signals. They are extremely bright. As you can see, they are plug and play, and they really give a nice pop to this bike while being sleek and discreet. So be sure to check out our website, tstindustries.com. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on. If you liked this video and found it helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And lastly, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comment field below. Check out our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark from TST Industries. Catch you guys next time.